him go. Man, let him go, man. You don't have to do this. Let him go.
I had D-Mac knock over the 9/7s.
The 9/7s? You talking about them crazy motherfuckers from Austin?
Necesito asegurarme que después de cortarle la cabeza al CBI, puedo tomar control en Chicago sin que haya pedos.
Sounds like we need each other.
More tea?
No, I'm good. Be up all night.
You pleased with your work thus far? Changing the digit on the Warren address? Very clever.
Welcome back to CBI.
You mean welcome back to CBI?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's the deal with it, YouTube? What's good with y'all? What's up with everybody? I go by the name of DC, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about Power Book 4 Force, and I'm going to be recapping and breaking down Season 3, Episode 3, which is titled There's Always a Price to Pay, and let y'all know how I felt about this episode, as well as give y'all some of my theories and predictions going into these next upcoming episodes of Force. But before I do that and hop into this recap, if you're finding my channel for the first time and you like power content like me, tap in and hit the post bell notification button to support the channel and to get updated on all power content I post on my channel. Hit the like button to help the video get recommended across the algorithm, and leave your thoughts and comments down below in the comment section, and y'all let me know y'all theories and predictions for these next upcoming episodes of Force, as well as y'all thoughts about episode 3 and how y'all felt about it. Now, first things first, shout out to D-Mac. Shout out to your boy D-Mac, goddammit, because he arguably had the best episode out of all of the characters in this show, if you ask me. D-Mac hands down was the episode 3 MVP. He carried this episode. This episode was fire and it was great, but D-Mac performance in this episode definitely stood out, bruh. It definitely stood out. I still think he a crash out dummy at the end of the day, and he's arguably one of the most dumbest characters in the Power universe, but I gotta give credit when it's due. I gotta give credit when it's due, and I gotta give your boy D-Mac props in this episode for going the hell off and stepping up to the plate and shining in episode 3, because this definitely was his episode. And while I'm already talking about D-Mac and the stuff he had going on in this episode, I'm gonna just go ahead and start the recap off with him and how we saw both Diamond and Jenard try to set up D-Mac in this episode to get taken out, as well as Tommy finding out about both Diamond and Jenard letting D-Mac back into CBI at the end of the episode. Because Diamond got a text from King Kilo in this episode, and King Kilo told Diamond he needs D-Mac dead ASAP, or him and the RDs is going to walk away from the coalition. And with everything that's going on between this war between the Marquez cartel and CBI, Diamond didn't want King Kilo and the RDs to drop out of the coalition, just in case this war between them and the Marquez cartel spills out of control and they in need of extra soldiers. So Diamond came up with a plan to get D-Mac smoked in this episode by setting up D-Mac to assume that he was going to put in some retaliation work for CBI by going after some crazy ass crew called the 9/7s, but Diamond was going to call the 9/7s and warn them about the attack so they could ambush D-Mac and take him out. But he needed Jenard to convince D-Mac to do it by making it seem like they was going to let him back into CBI if he gets this so-called job done. So Jenard went to Marshall's crib and convinced D-Mac to go on this so-called retaliation mission for them, and Marshall was trying to tell D-Mac to leave the situation alone and not do the job for Diamond and Jenard, because he already knew what time it was and knew that this was a suicide mission and the 9/7s ain't nothing to play with, especially since they got law enforcement in their back pockets and they're using the police for protection. But D-Mac wasn't trying to hear none of that stuff that Marshall was talking about, and he instead did the opposite of what Diamond and Jenard so-called tasked him to do, and came up with his own plan to rob the 9/7s. So D-Mac and Marshall rounded up a crew, and they went on this so-called retaliation mission and robbed the 9/7s, and they ended up getting into a shootout with the 9/7s after Marshall popped one of the 9/7 members to save D-Mac's life, which led to one of Marshall's homies getting smoked, as well as D-Mac throwing a grenade and blowing up a car. And what I want to know is who gave D-Mac a goddamn grenade, bruh. That's what I want to know. They gave arguably one of the most dumbest characters in Power history a goddamn grenade, bruh. They gave the dumbest nigga in the crew the goddamn grenade, bruh. Like, I understand that black market stuff is real and all like that, but nobody in their right goddamn mind should have gave D-Mac a grenade, bruh. We already knew that grenade was going to go off the moment he showed it to Marshall and let it be known that he had a grenade on him. We knew D-Mac was going to use that grenade in this episode. We already knew what time it was with him, and even though they got away and this was a successful mission, I do believe they're about to get caught up in the future. I definitely believe they're about to get caught for this. So the next day, Diamond and Jenard was at Diamond's barbershop waiting to get the phone call about D-Mac getting smoked, and to both of their surprises, D-Mac walks inside the barbershop unharmed and untouched, pissing both Diamond and Jenard off. The look that Jenard had on his face was funny as hell in this scene, bruh. It looked like Jenard seen a ghost when he saw D-Mac walk into Diamond's basement. It looked like he seen a ghost walk into that room, goddammit. And with Diamond having no other choice, because he didn't want D-Mac to know that he was trying to set him up, he told D-Mac he was going to let him back into CBI. And right after he said that, Tommy ass popped up like a goddamn ghost talking about some what the hell you mean welcome back to CBI. And Jenard, Diamond, and D-Mac couldn't do nothing but just stand there and look at Tommy with a dumb look on their face because they knew they was caught. And with them getting caught by Tommy, and Tommy now knowing about the stuff that's going on between Jenard, Diamond, and D-Mac, I'm expecting Tommy and Diamond to fall out with each other by episode 5. I believe by episode 5, we're going to see Tommy and Diamond cut ties with each other and start beefing with each other. I believe it's just a matter of time before this happens. Especially now that Tommy knows that both Diamond and Jenard is trying to set up D-Mac to get taken out by King Kilo. I'm definitely expecting Tommy to be pissed off about that, and I'm also expecting him to try to protect D-Mac as well. With us getting close to the second half mark of season 3, I am expecting things to get worse between Tommy and Diamond in these next upcoming episodes of Force. And like I said, I'm expecting these two to fall out with each other by episode 5. I definitely believe by the end of episode 5 going into episode 6, we're going to see Tommy and Diamond beefing with one another and trying to take each other out. But continuing on with Tommy, in this episode we saw Tommy retaliate again against the Marquez cartel in this episode and took out Ortega's uncle for the death of Chavo and the Marquez cartel taking out Chavo at the end of episode 2. Because when Diamond got to his barbershop at the beginning of the episode, picking up right where they left off at the end of episode 2, and since Tommy wanted to chop off people's heads in episode 2, the Marquez cartel cut Chavo's dead body in half and left his dead body and his dead dog in front of Diamond's barbershop, going tick for tack with Tommy since he wanted to cut up people's dead bodies. So Tommy and Diamond called up the new DSD leader Izzy to have a conversation with him about Chavo's death, and Izzy wanted to hit back at the Marquez cartel ASAP for the death of Chavo, and he told both Tommy and Diamond if they don't do nothing about it, then it's on sight when they see the Marquez cartel. So when Tommy and Diamond was chopping it up about expanding their territories across Chicago, Tommy and Diamond realized that they're going to need extra soldiers if they do go to war with the Marquez cartel, since a couple of crews from the coalition is dropping out. And Tommy thought it would be a good idea to team up with the Serbians to take out Ortega, since they already got issues with the Marquez cartel as well for taking out Mirkovic in episode 1. So Tommy reached out to the Serbians and went and met up with them in this episode. And I don't know why the Serbians didn't shoot Tommy on sight when they seen him, bruh. Because ain't no way Tommy should still be able to walk up in a Serbian's restaurant and discuss business deals with them after all the stuff he did to them. Tommy done set these niggas to go up to jail. He done took out multiple leaders from their organization. Like, ain't no way in hell the Serbians is still doing business with Tommy and teaming up with him after all the stuff he did to them, goddammit. Ain't no way in hell they still being cool with Tommy, bruh. The Serbians need to be spending on Tommy like the Marquez cartel is spending on him, goddammit. Like I said, Tommy done took out multiple leaders from their organization. Like, ain't no way the Serbians should be working with Tommy, bruh. Ain't no way they should have been working with Tommy. But Tommy met up with the Serbians and let them know about the problems that he was having with Ortega and the Marquez cartel, and told them that it'd be a good idea for them to team up with each other to take down Ortega. And the new Serbian leader that we got introduced to in this episode told Tommy that he got the drop on Ortega's uncle's location, as uncle is currently in Chicago and he know where he stay at. So with Tommy getting the drop on Ortega's uncle's location, Tommy, the Serbians, and the DSDs went to Ortega's uncle's house and took out Ortega's uncle after the Serbians and the DSDs threw him off of a balcony. And I do believe this was an unnecessary kill by Tommy. I do feel like this kill was a little bit OD. I do feel like they should have left Ortega's uncle out of this. I don't feel like he should have got smoked in this episode because of the stuff that's going on between the Marquez cartel and CBI, but it is what it is. Like I said, I do think this kill was unnecessary because all this did was create more issues between CBI and the Marquez cartel, but I'm definitely expecting Ortega to retaliate against Tommy. I do believe that's going to happen sooner than later, especially with Ortega possibly getting out of jail in these next upcoming episodes of Force, which is something that I'm going to talk about later on in this video when I come around to that topic. And while I'm talking about Ortega, we saw Ortega make a deal with Miguel in this episode to give up Tommy to him when he gets out of jail, because Miguel was following around the hitman that he hired in episode 2 to take out Tommy. And while he was following him in this episode, Miguel saw Ortega's lawyer having a conversation with the shooter that he hired, because the shooter that he hired is working for the Marquez cartel, and he told Ortega about Miguel hiring him to take out Tommy. And Ortega told the shooter not to take out Tommy because he personally wanted to kill Tommy himself for taking out his uncle, which is something that Miguel found out about after him and his homeboy tortured the shooter before killing him in this episode. So Miguel called Ortega afterwards to talk about Tommy, and Ortega asked Miguel if he's going to have any problems with him because he plans on planting the flag in Chicago after he takes out Tommy. And Miguel told Ortega he could help him plant his flag in Chicago and he could also deliver Tommy to him so he could take him out. And I don't know, if I'm Miguel, I'm not trusting Ortega. I'm definitely not trusting Ortega. This deal that he made with him in this episode does sound good, but at the same time, with Ortega being a part of a rival cartel, I think he's going to try to do something to Miguel by the end of season 3. I think he's going to try to make a move against him and possibly try to take him out. If he don't make a move against him, I believe Elche is, especially after he finds out about this deal that Miguel got going on with Ortega and the Marquez cartel, as well as finding out about him taking out his son to take over the Insane Princess. I'm definitely expecting Elche to find out about all the stuff that Miguel got got going on sooner than later. I'm definitely expecting Elche to pop up real soon too. I do believe we're going to see the return of his character probably in episode 4 or episode 5, who knows, but I am expecting Elche to make his return in these next upcoming episodes of Force. Now, moving on to the law enforcement side and the stuff that they got going on. In this episode, we saw Stacy announce that she's going to be running for mayor of Chicago, and we found out about one of Stacy's co-worker, Agent Sam, being a mole for Ortega and working with the Marquez cartel, because Stacy let it be known to the city of Chicago that she was going to be running for mayor of Chicago. We know the DNC party approached her in episode 1 and told her that they wanted her to run for mayor. And during her campaign announcement, one of the reporters asked Stacy about her and Bobby getting a divorce and if it's going to affect her campaign or not, which Stacy responds to by telling them it's not. And the DNC party got pissed off about Stacy not telling them about her getting a divorce because the people in Chicago already don't like Stacy and she doesn't have the best relationship with Chicago PD. And her being married to Bobby is the reason why most of the people in Chicago voted for Stacy. But now that this secret is out about her and Bobby getting a divorce, this could ruin her campaign. And while this was going on, Ortega's lawyer filed the motion to suppress the drugs and cash from his arrest because apparently there was a mistake on the arrest warrant and one of the address numbers on the arrest warrant was wrong. And Agent San told Stacy that he drafted up everything that was on the arrest warrant and he didn't get nothing wrong. But come to find out, Agent San actually was the one that changed the address numbers on the arrest warrant and he changed it to help Ortega get out of jail. And we found this out at the end of the episode when Agent San met up with Ortega's lawyer to give him everything that he knows about Tommy. And I will say, I never expected Agent San to be working with the Marquez cartel. This was a great plot twist added to the story. And all I'm gonna say is, Stacy need to keep that back door closed. Stacy really needs to keep her eyes on Agent San in these next upcoming episodes of Force, because I'm sure he's going to continue to do everything in his power to ruin Stacy Marks and stop her from becoming the mayor, as well as losing her job. I definitely believe Agent San is trying to get Stacy out the way. She definitely needs to keep her eyes on Agent San in these next upcoming episodes of Force, because I do believe he will continue to try to ruin Stacy Marks and her image and ruin Stacy for his own benefits. I am expecting Agent San to be exposed in these next upcoming episodes of Force. I do believe Stacy will find out about him working with the Marquez cartel, but for now, I do believe Stacy needs to keep her eyes on Agent San and everybody else that she's associating with in these next upcoming episodes of Force. Now, another person Stacy will have to keep her eyes on in these next upcoming episodes of Force is Vic and his new love interest Ray that he met in episode 2, who was a part of Stacy's campaign team. Because we saw Vic plot his move against Stacy to neutralize her and get from under her thumb. And when Vic was kicking it with his new love interest Ray again in this episode, after he finessed his way back into her bed after she tried to one-night stand him, and Ray told Vic about Stacy's campaign donors pulling their donations from her campaign, and she's now in need of $1 million because of the donations that she lost. So Vic called Tommy at the end of the episode and told him that he found the weakness on Stacy that they could use against her, and he told Tommy about Stacy needing $1 million for her campaign. And like I've been saying throughout my last couple of videos, I believe Vic is about to figure out a way to get from under both Stacy and Tommy's thumb in these next upcoming episodes of Force. Especially now that he got this new love interest Ray that's telling him about all the stuff that Stacy Marks got going on with her campaign. So like I said, I'm expecting Vic to figure out a way to get out of these situations that he's in one way or another. I definitely believe he's about to run game on both Stacy Marks and Tommy in these next upcoming episodes of Force. And I can't wait to see how all this stuff is going to play out, because it's really looking like your boy Vic might make it out of season 3 alive. And he's definitely high up on my list as one of the characters that I think is going to make it out of season 3 alive. But other than that, I ain't got too much else to say about this episode. Like I said earlier in the video, this episode was great. This episode was fire. Season 3 has definitely been great so far, and I can't wait to see what's next for these next upcoming episodes of Force. But if you made it to the end of this recap and you enjoyed the recap that I uploaded and created, hit the like button to help this video get recommended across the algorithm, tap in and hit the post bell notification button to support your boy to get updated on all content I post on my channel. I'ma holla at y'all later. New videos is on the way. New videos is coming soon. Stay on the lookout for that. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me and supporting the channel. I appreciate y'all. Y'all take care. Y'all be safe and God bless. I'ma get at y'all later.